Talk to Steve Adelman right now over the phone, who is a school safety expert. Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell me about this morning. We all often are trying to just gather as much information as we can, set the stage for what will be happening on campuses like this all across the country.
Well, this is a distressingly familiar situation. So, fortunately, schools have initiated procedures over the last several years so that students can be moved to safety, to the extent that there is safety. They can be moved to safety quickly and quietly, and then they just stay put. And so this is the standard lockdown drill, and the reason that students are not communicating with their parents, except on rare occasions, is they've been instructed not to use their phones. And that's both to keep phone lines open so that law enforcement and school personnel can communicate, and also because, well, kids' phones ring. They ring even when kids get text messages, and all of that could alert a bad guy to the presence of students in a room which is locked and dark and otherwise appears to be vacant. And so these are procedures that students know and teachers know how to get students to do. And so the fact that students have not been released yet, frankly, is about what I would expect. Law enforcement is going through the entire campus to make sure that there is no further danger. And then when they are completely satisfied that the scene is stable and safe, then students will be released in an orderly fashion, and they'll be able to meet up with their parents. So while it's certainly distressing for parents to have to wait and not to be able to communicate with their children, this is actually about what you would expect, and it's consistent with safe, modern law enforcement practice.
Interesting to know, too, this would not be something foreign to these students because they would have gone through this already. As I mentioned earlier, my kids in elementary school talking about it, and they said they go through banging on the doors, classrooms stay shut, and they have to keep quiet. So this is a typical thing then, what we're seeing. This is pretty uniform everywhere we see?
It is, and I have a middle school age child, and they go through the same thing, and it's exactly the way you describe it. So, you know, a teacher or administrator will pretend to be a bad guy and try the door and bang on it and make sure that all the windows are covered up. So while this is certainly a frightening situation, no one should minimize that, it's at least a familiar situation for students and faculty. They know what to do, and they know to stay put until they receive an all-clear message, which is something that they have discussed and practiced before. So while we on the outside may feel like we're not getting information, on the inside where they need to know what the right thing is to do, they do.